Hey guys, so today I want to make another video that's kind of like a list. So I have a lot of gaming videos on my channel. I think well over 1,000, maybe even 2,000 videos. So yeah, I'm a huge video game fan, I guess. I'm a huge gamer. I've been gaming since I was a kid, starting from DOS games, graduating all the way to console games and obviously modern PC games as well. So yeah, I have a lot of video games on my channel and I play a lot of different video games, all genres, old and new. And I'm going to be picking my favorite video game from each year from 1990 all the way to this year, 2023. And I got to make sure that each of these games I've already played and uploaded on my channel. So one kind of caveat here, the way that I put these years on my channel, like I'll upload a video, say let's play, then the game name, and then I'll put the year that it was actually released on that platform, and then the platform name, right? So it doesn't mean it's the year it was originally released. It doesn't mean it's the original release date of that game. It's just the date that it was released for that platform that I'm playing on. Because sometimes there's console games that got released years and years ago, but then just recently came out for PC or the Switch or something like that, and the year that I put on my YouTube video is the year it came out for the Switch or the PC, whatever year it came out for that platform. So it doesn't mean that it's the year it originally came out. So that's just one caveat here. When I'm picking a game from a year, it's just the year that it was released for that platform. So yeah, just gonna go over all my gaming videos here, and I gotta pick one of my favorite games that I've played from each year, and this is pretty interesting. So yeah, whatever game I pick, that game has to be released for that platform in that year, and it has to be one that I played on my channel. So yeah, this should be a pretty interesting list. Just do it because just felt like doing this kind of video. I thought it was pretty interesting just going over all my different gaming videos because I have so many, right? And I've uploaded so many from all different years. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. Alright, so we're gonna start from the year 1990, of course, like I said. And this is the earliest video games that I've basically played. And this is going to be my favorite video game from 1990, and that's Prince of Persia. So there's actually not a whole lot of choices because I didn't play many games from 1990. It is like a long time ago. Yeah, so 1990 is like what? It's 33 years ago. So that's a long time ago, guys. 33 years ago, yeah. So I really didn't play that many games from 1990, but Prince of Persia is probably my favorite. It's a game that I originally played as a kid, and actually my parents played this as well. I don't even know how I started originally playing this game. I think my parents brought it back on a floppy disk or something one day, and they were playing it too, I believe. And yeah, I ended up playing this, and I remember it being very difficult, and it is very difficult. As I went back in this video, I did this actually a year ago, so yeah, I just went back to this game, and then yeah, it's really difficult. It's one of those really early games, there's a time limit and you have to be very exact with your jumps and everything, but it's a very influential game because of the smooth scrolling platforming. It's called like a cinematic platformer. It's one that kind of inspired games like Another World. So it's a very influential game, the first game in the Prince of Persia series, and yeah, it's still like one of the greatest games, I think. Just yeah, the impact it's had. Yeah, it's so easy to die in this game. It's just a one-hit death if you just fall from a... Yeah, actually you got three health bars, but you could just die instantly if you fall from a large height,
Oh my god, I have to go through all that again.
But yeah, you got like backtrack, there's no like save points or anything like that. It's really an old school game. But yeah, very influential, and definitely out of this limited amount of games that I have from 1990, this is definitely my favorite. So yeah, Prince of Persia. Okay, then from 1991, again, not that many games I played that was originally released in 1991, but I do have this one. It's called Turtles in Time, which is a beat 'em up that's related to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. And this is for Super Nintendo on emulator. I believe I'm playing this with a friend, because it's a beat 'em up, so you gotta play with a friend. And yeah, it's one of my favorite beat 'em ups, I think. So Turtles in Time was originally an arcade game, and originally, actually, it's been re-released as part of the Ninja Turtles was it Cowabunga Collection on the Switch. So now you do have the original arcade version available as well. But this was recorded like years ago before that. So so this was the SNES version, which is not as good as the arcade version, but still pretty good. I mean, for a SNES beat 'em up, it's still one of my favorites on that platform. I mean, SNES has a lot of good beat 'em ups on there, and definitely Turtles in Time is one of my favorites. Yeah, it's a very fun game to play with a friend. Yeah, it's just, I think along with Double Dragon, Super Double Dragon, I guess, Final Fight 3, and what's the other one? There's a few others on that platform, beat 'em ups and stuff, but yeah, definitely Turtles in Time. Oh yeah, Battletoads is the other one. Yeah, Turtles in Time was definitely one of my favorites for beat 'em ups on the SNES. So yeah, this is my favorite game from 1991. Okay, so my favorite game that I played from 1992 on my channel is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, also on Super Nintendo. I think this game is considered by many to be, well, these days there's so many like great Zelda games, right? There's so many great Zelda games. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom just came out, and that's another great one. But definitely, when it comes to 2D Zelda games, I think everyone would agree that this is probably the best one. So yeah, 3D Zelda games, a lot of choices, but 2D Zelda games, Link to the Past, I think everyone would agree is the best 2D Zelda game. It's just an all-time great. You're talking about adventure games, it's an all-time great one, especially from that era. And I remember playing this a lot as a kid because I had a SNES emulator. I remember people remember ZSNES. ZSNES was a really popular SNES emulator back in the day, and I remember playing this game a lot. Yeah, the atmosphere, the sense of adventure, just everything that when you knew, you discover something in this game, and it's very fluid. The gameplay is very polished, and yeah, it's just, I never played the original Zelda game on NES, so I don't know how to compare to that, but I think it is much more polished than the original Zelda game. So yeah, this is just probably the best 2D Zelda game and one of the best 2D adventure experiences you'll ever have, actually. So yeah, Link to the Past, one of the all-time great Super Nintendo games. My favorite game from 1992 that I played on my channel. What's this one called? Okay, my favorite game that I played from 1993 on my channel is Leisure Suit Larry 6. I think I've talked about this game a few times before on my channel, but this is probably my favorite point-and-click adventure game ever. It's just got so much charm to it, and
your vision fills with the image of 1,000 Leisure Suit manufacturers burning in hell.
yeah, the narrator is just so funny.
You're getting too old.
Yeah, this game is so funny. It's got so much humor. The narrator is awesome. It's got so much charm.
So he died from trying to swim in his leisure suit. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's so funny. Like the amount of things you can do in this game, get away with. Like a lot of things in this game you can't get away with anymore, right? These days. But yeah, this is just so 90s for me, and I would definitely love to go back to playing this game again sometime when I have the time. But yeah, this is a fun game. One of my favorite point-and-click adventure games.
This is a bar,
and it's got so much humor, so much charm. It's just a fun time playing this game. It's a really chill game to play, because not all the time I want to get like stressed playing games that involve killing people and stuff like that. If you just want to like chill out and relax and have a good laugh, this is the game to check out. Leisure Suit Larry 6, my favorite game from 1993 that I played on my channel. Alright, my favorite game from 1994 that I played on my channel is Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So this game was released for Genesis, of course, and I had an emulator back then. Actually, it was released for PC as well back then. So I actually played this when I was a kid, and I actually beat this game. And Knuckles is basically connected to this game, anyways. It's basically supposed to be the same game, just split apart. So yeah, this is my favorite Sonic game. And it's just got great music, great gameplay. It's, like, everything's very solid, very fast platforming action because Sonic. And I've always preferred, I think, this type of platforming to Mario. Actually, that's why, like, I actually haven't really uploaded a 2D Mario game on my channel yet. So yeah, like, but I love Sonic. Sonic is the best in 2D. 3D Sonic games just don't really feel the same, whereas the Mario 3D games feel good, but 3D Sonic games don't really feel the same. The 2D Sonic games are really where it's at. And then this is the apex, the pinnacle of 2D Sonic games, in my opinion, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Just done really, really well. So yeah, one of my favorite platforming games ever. Just really nicely done platforming game. So one of the best, I think. Really nice, great gameplay, fast action, fast pace, very polished, great music. Just everything about it is you know, it's one of the all-time great platformers, I think. So yeah, Sonic 3 & Knuckles, my favorite game from 1994 on my channel. Okay, my favorite game from 1995 on my channel is Chrono Trigger, also for Super Nintendo. Just shows you how many great games are on that system. So yeah, this is one of my favorite Japanese RPGs ever. Maybe my favorite, actually. But yeah, definitely one of the all-time great 2D RPGs. I would say one of the all-time great 16-bit RPGs. And one of the all-time great SNES RPGs. And there's definitely a lot of them. So yeah, I did play this when I was a kid as well. I beat it. It was one of the most amazing gaming experiences I've ever had. Chrono Trigger. With the time travel mechanic and... you know, all the characters and stuff, even though Chrono's like a mute and stuff, all the characters are so charming, and the backstory, and, you know, it'll make you cry, it'll make you laugh. This game is just amazing. One of the all-time great JRPGs. Highly encourage anyone who hasn't played it, but, you know, if you're into JRPGs, you have to play this game. Like Chrono Trigger, it still never really got a real sequel, right? It's Chrono Cross, I don't consider like a real sequel, but... yeah, it's never really gotten like a real sequel, I'd say. But yeah, one of the all-time great Japanese RPGs. And it has to be my pick here. My favorite game from 1995 that I played on my channel, Chrono Trigger. The music, the gameplay, the story, characters, visuals, like everything on this game is perfect. It's as perfect a JRPG as you can get. Yeah, flawless. A masterpiece, I'd say. Okay, and my favorite game from 1996 that I played on my channel is Duke Nukem 3D, which I believe actually had #1 on my greatest or favorite, I guess, FPS games of all time. So definitely Duke Nukem, you guys can tell Duke Nukem 3D had a huge impact on
love all the interactivity
on my gaming history. So
makes it really
love Duke Nukem 3D. It's just a great game. I think a lot of people like it. It's especially if you're at that age. Like I came of age in the 90s, right? A lot of people came of age in the 90s. I think you'll, if you're into FPS games, I think you'll definitely have heard of Duke Nukem 3D. It's one of the first games that has all this interactivity going on.
Nice show.
So it's not just about killing stuff. You do have a lot of interactivity, but it's just you know, really nicely done. You know, it's got great weapons and stuff. Feels nice to kill people, kill the pig cops. I mean, and the monsters in this game. It's in a real life environment, which is different than Doom and Quake, right? Doom and Quake, you're in some alien planet or something like that. But Duke Nukem 3D, you're actually on Earth in a real life environment. Look, you're in a store here with like a bunch of books and stuff. You can see like comic books or whatever. Like that's in a real life environment, a movie theater.
Yeah, I've killed everything.
So that's just different than other FPS games, and the fact that Duke has a personality, he spouts one-liners, you know, being able to use like all this interactive stuff that's not even related to killing, like that's all pretty innovative, I think. So yeah, Duke Nukem 3D is one of my favorite FPS games ever. So it's my pick for the 1996 year, my favorite game from that year that I played. Okay, and another one of my favorite FPS games ever, this is my pick for 1997, is GoldenEye 007 for the N64. So I played probably countless hours of this game when I was a kid. I had a friend in elementary school, and almost every day after class, we'd go over to his house, and we just play GoldenEye 007 every day. We play multiplayer, right? It's one of the best multiplayer experiences back then. So many things you can do in this game, right? Like, the multiplayer is just so fun. Yeah, there's just so many different modes, so many different weapons. Like, it was the first time I saw, like, in a game, you know, back then when you had Doom and, like, Duke Nukem and stuff, you had, like, a limited amount of weapons, right? So GoldenEye is like, what? How many weapons can you carry? And you can carry, like, 2 rocket launchers, you can do dual rocket launchers, dual grenade launchers, like, everything can be dual, which is, like, incredible. I'd never, like, seen that in another FPS game at the time. And also the levels and campaign itself, like being able to target specific parts of the body, like that's really amazing. So GoldenEye 007, I know it's aged, like it's aged a bit for sure, but you can't deny that it's a very influential FPS game. So yeah, we're talking about video game history, right? This is I would say, the first really good FPS game for consoles. yeah, this is the first one. So yeah, it came out in 1997. It's gonna be my pick for my favorite 1997 game that I play on my channel. GoldenEye 007. I have lots of good memories about this game. It's definitely one of the greatest FPS games in my opinion. So yeah, I have to pick it. You guys can tell I really like 90s FPS games, right? So 1998, another pick for another FPS game. My favorite game from 1998 on this channel is Half-Life, the original Half-Life. So this game, also one of the greatest FPS games. I think it revolutionized the FPS genre because so before Half-Life, all you did was like you go down. It's very linear, so you just kill people, right? You go down some corridor or some dungeon, you kill things. So Half-Life kind of changed that. It actually added scripts. So after Half-Life, you now have games, pretty much all the games after Half-Life, like Call of Duty, Halo, whatever. All the games after Half-Life have scripts now, where you have scripted events that are happening, and then after the scripted event happens, like, you feel like you're really part of the story. So it's different than Doom or, you know, yeah, Doom or Quake and those kind of games where you just like kill things. In Half-Life, you actually have a story that progresses with a script. So nowadays, all FPS games are like that, right? So Half-Life, hugely influential game. 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2 are both influential, but for me, like, I think the 1 will always kind of be very memorable to me because I grew up with this game. So yeah, this is my pick for 1998. My favorite game from that year that I play on my channel, Half-Life. So I think anyone who's played this game, you can recognize how impactful this game is. So it's not just about killing things, but really about progressing the story. Right? So yeah, like here you're solving puzzles, right? Progressing the story, things like that. That previously on other games you didn't really see things like that. So, here's the scripted event that's going to happen. See, that's like a scripted event that would happen. So that's just, you just didn't see that in other FPS games at the time. So yeah, had to pick Half-Life. It's one of the most influential FPS games. So yeah, that's my pick for 1998. All right, finishing off the 90s. You know, no surprise here, another FPS game. I just love 90s FPS games. So my favorite game in 1999 is Unreal Tournament, the original one. Had hours and hours of fun with this game back in the day. Just like, you know, fragging people on deathmatch. So this is one of my favorite levels, Morpheus, right? The low gravity. Yeah, it's just such fun, fast-paced action. They don't, like, major game publishers don't make these kind of games anymore. You kind of see some indie publishers doing it. You know, I think with Splitgate, right? I guess Toxic, but yeah, you don't really see like much of this really fast-paced action. Although like Doom and Doom Eternal kind of brought it back. But oh, Quick Champions. I guess Quick Champions kind of like that. But yeah, Unreal Tournament. When are we ever going to see another Unreal Tournament? Right? Unreal Tournament 4 kind of got abandoned, I think. It's unfortunate. But the original will always hold a special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite deathmatch games ever. Just fast-paced, frantic fun. Yeah, this is the game that really, I think, caused many people to enjoy deathmatch games. You know, this and Quake 3 Arena probably, but I like this better than Quake 3 Arena because you have the ultimate fire with the guns. So yeah, just one of my favorite FPS games. After so many countless hours fragging bots, fragging other players, my friends, in deathmatch mode. So, just a really fun. Although I think 2004 is probably the better game. The original is definitely still very playable today. Still very fun today. So that's my pick for 1999. Okay, 2000, another FPS game. Although this one is not just an FPS game, it's like a blend of different genres. So it's Deus Ex. Deus Ex is actually another really influential game for the PC genre. Because, well, the fact that it combines so many different aspects, like it combines first-person shooter. It combines stealth as well, RPG elements, sci-fi, of course. Right, so it's a multi-genre game, and generally, like a lot of people do consider Deus Ex one of the greatest PC games ever. Because it just had a lot of influence on the industry as well. I mean, sure, you had System Shock before this, but Deus Ex really influenced a lot of games. Everything from Bioshock to System Shock 2, like obviously the other Deus Ex sequels. So it definitely influenced a lot of games after this in multiple genres. So you can choose the way you can approach different things. You can obviously a lot of interactivity, as you can see here. So it's not just about shooting stuff anymore. The FPS genre really evolved, and Deus Ex is just further proof of that, right? Went from Half-Life to Deus Ex, you can see how it evolved, right? Not just shooting guys, killing guys anymore, but you have so much interactivity now, right? So many things that you can do in this game. So it's a multi-genre, just a multi-genre game. So a lot of things you can do in it, very, very influential, and one of the greatest games, I would say. For sure. So, Deus Ex is my pick for my favorite 2000 game that I've played on my channel. So, just a lot of things you can do in this game. Okay, my pick for 2001. I know this is kind of like cheating, but really not, because it's Diablo 2. I know Diablo 2 technically was released in 2000. But this is the expansion, Lord of Destruction, which came out in 2001. So technically it does count. And I did not actually play the original Diablo 2 on my channel. I only played Lord of Destruction. So I had to pick this one for 2001. But anyways, Diablo 2, I mean, I'm sure everyone who knows RPGs knows about this game. It's an all-time great RPG game, especially for action RPG genres. Really, it is the game that made action RPGs much more commonplace, especially for Western RPGs. So yeah, it's, let's say this, Blizzard, like they had hits with Warcraft, and then StarCraft obviously made them big. Diablo 2, I would say, is their biggest game up to this point, and then this is before Warcraft 3. So yeah, this game, I remember in the 2000s, everyone was playing either Diablo 2, Dota, or Counter-Strike. Like those were the three games almost everyone played, right? And Diablo 2 is like that popular where you can just see like easily meet people who have played Diablo 2 before with their friends, right? Co-op, multiplayer. So yeah, just a very, very influential RPG game, especially for the action RPG genre. So what can I say, right? Just a really great multiplayer game, and you know, just has this nice dark setting, which is nice. Even to this day, right? Many people would consider Diablo 2 the greatest Diablo. A lot of people didn't like 3, and it's just so finely tuned, balanced, and polished compared to the other Diablo games, I would say. While losing pretty much nothing from the atmosphere, because it's still got that nice dark atmosphere from Diablo 1. So, anyways, it's a really great game. So, I know it's technically a 2000 game, but this is the expansion, which is, you know, the full version of Diablo 2, I would say. So, yeah, 2001. My pick is Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction. It's my favorite game from that year. Okay, so my pick for 2002 is Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. In this game, I think it's still one of the greatest Elder Scrolls games. I mean, a lot of people prefer Oblivion or Skyrim, but for me, I think Morrowind still deserves to be mentioned, because it's like, just the way it changed Elder Scrolls. From Elder Scrolls Daggerfall, and I played all the Elder Scrolls from Arena all the way up to Skyrim, right? So, yeah, Daggerfall was like kind of like an older school, like first-person RPG, like dungeon crawler type of game. Morrowind is the game that really made the modern Elder Scrolls. Like, it really opened it up to an open world environment. Just added, you know, all this like 3D interactivity, right? Like everyone just feels, all the NPCs feel really realistic. They have their own like cycles, basically, their day-night cycles, like their own behaviors, their own routines, like everything like that you know from the modern Elder Scrolls games, right? From Oblivion, Skyrim, came from Morrowind, right? Morrowind really was the game that kind of started all that. So really, it is, I think, one of the greatest Western RPGs. So it's just, yeah, you can go so deep with this game, right? It's open world, there's so much dialogue, you can talk to people, yeah, and so much you can do, right? Because it's a game that's so open-ended, right? You can do like everything in this game. So yeah, I have to pick Morrowind. It's an amazing game. Although you can say it's not as polished as Oblivion or Skyrim, but still, I think there's still a lot of charm about Morrowind. I really hope that they re-release Morrowind, by the way. I think this is a game that deserves to be re-released. So yeah, it's just an all-time great Western RPG, especially in the open world RPG genre. So that's my pick for 2002, my favorite game from that year. Okay, my favorite game from 2003 is Advance Wars 2 for the Game Boy Advance. And I played a lot of Game Boy Advance on emulator back in the day when I was a kid. This was one of the games I played the most. Actually, in this video on my channel, it's like 4 hours long. I mean, it shows you how long I even like played it on this channel, right? Like, yeah, I would have these massive battles with CPUs, right? Because I was using emulator. So I would have these massive battles with CPUs, like these 8-player battles, and it would just take forever. It would take hours and hours, but it was fun, really fun. I love the strategy, the tactics. It really made me interested in the tactical genre. Because before Advance Wars, I didn't really play many games in the tactical genre yet. After Advance Wars, I played Final Fantasy Tactics, I played Tactics Ogre, I played Fire Emblem. So yeah, Disgaea, right? Like all these other tactical games after that. So Advance Wars really introduced me to that and had a great influence, I guess, in my love of the tactical genre. So yeah, I love that it got re-released recently. But the original, still good, nice to come back to. It's like got those nice charming graphics and everything. So yeah, Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising for Game Boy Advance. That's my favorite game in 2003. It really is a blast to play. I beat the whole campaign and everything. A lot of strategy and stuff involved. Love it. Okay, my pick for 2004 is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. This is a game I played originally for Xbox back in the day, original Xbox. But this is the PC version, and yeah, it's a great game. What can I say? It's one of my favorite Star Wars games. Was my favorite Star Wars game actually until probably recently. Another great one came out this year. But yeah, in terms of RPGs, Western RPGs, it's got to be up there. Like
it looks like we have plenty.
Yeah, I think I ranked Star Wars Knights of the Republic 1 and 2 actually, both of them in the top 20 of my favorite RPGs, like non-JRPGs,
Apparently
Western RPGs basically. Yeah, top 20 Western RPGs. Star Wars Knights of the Republic belongs there, but I like 2 because I didn't actually get much of a chance to play 1. Yeah, so I mean, I did eventually end up playing 1 on PC, but when I picked this up on Xbox, I just went with the sequel and had a good time with it. I beat this game back in the day. Really fun. A lot of things you can do. It really felt like I was in the Star Wars universe. It was very immersive. And because it wasn't tied to the era of the movies, right? This was the Old Republic era. They had a little bit more freedom in what you can do and what you can show in this game. So yeah, I just felt like this really added to the Star Wars lore. Like the Darth Revan and this game Darth Nihilus, Darth Traya. So yeah, I really enjoyed this game. It's one of my favorite RPGs. So yeah, Knights of the Republic 2, my favorite game from 2004. So 2005 is my favorite Pokemon game, probably Pokemon Emerald. I played this back on emulator for Game Boy Advance. Loved it. I beat it. This game, yeah, it's my favorite because so I feel like modern Pokemon games is a little bit too like. I just feel like they kind of ran out of ideas and they try to like just stick stuff on the wall to see what sticks, or throw stuff on the wall to see what sticks. And it doesn't feel like it's as purposeful anymore as in the older school Pokemon games. I feel like the older school Pokemon games had a little bit more love and attention and care to it, and a little bit more charm, especially the Game Boy Advance ones. So, I mean, I love Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And Crystal actually played a lot back then as well, but I think Ruby and Sapphire really was the peak. And yeah, Emerald, adds more onto Ruby and Sapphire. So yeah, I played this a lot back in the day. In terms of Pokemon games, probably my favorite. So Emerald and then Crystal, probably my favorite. And yeah, I don't think the newer Pokemon games just don't really do it for me. I still prefer the old ones, especially the second and third generation. I think that was the peak of Pokemon. Starting from Diamond and Pearl, I think it kind of went downhill a little bit. So anyways, yeah, this is my pick. If you guys have not played Pokemon, try it. It's it's like an RPG where you can recruit many different members, basically party members. So that's why it is considered a JRPG, because you can essentially recruit, right, a lot of different members to fight for you. So that's my pick for 2005. Okay, my pick for 2006 is one of my favorite RTS games ever, Rise of Legends, which is the sequel to Rise of Nations, by the way. Although it's nothing like Rise of Nations at all. This game really plays more like StarCraft. Rise of Nations plays more like Age of Empires. But Rise of Legends, yeah, it's an amazing game. I wish it would get re-released. It has never been re-released ever. It's not even on GOG or Steam, unfortunately. But this game, I always, yeah, it's just an underrated game. Like, everyone who's played it really loves it, right? I don't know why Microsoft has not re-released this game. They just pretend this game doesn't exist. I mean, like, just like Freelancer and a bunch of their other games, they pretend it doesn't exist. Come on, Microsoft. I mean, you re-released the Rise of Nations. Why not Rise of Legends? Anyways, I love this game. The fact that you have 3 distinct races, right? One is basically like a race based on like clockwork, machines and stuff. Another race based on magical creatures, and this third race that I usually play as is based on alien technology. So, 3 distinct races. You have the ability to, I have a 4 versus 4 map here. Play like these large player maps, and you can expand your like army kind of just like by building structures on your main base, and you can subjugate stuff like this to expand your border limits. It's a really fun game to play. It's just unfortunate it never got re-released. But anyways, my favorite game from 2006, one of my favorite RTS games ever, Rise of Legends. Okay, so for 2007, actually not too many games that I played on my channel from this year. So I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy Tactics for PSP. Yeah, I can do that, because I know this is not the original release year for Final Fantasy Tactics. I think it originally came out in '98, I think, for PS1, but it got a re-release for PlayStation Portable, and I'm gonna choose the PSP version for 2007, I guess, since that's the version I played on here on my channel. So yeah, what can I say about this game? It's probably one of the best tactical RPGs ever. So Final Fantasy Tactics really kind of established that genre. Like before that, I don't think tactical RPGs was popular before Final Fantasy Tactics. But yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics really made kind of the tactical RPG genre really popular. I know there's Fire Emblem and stuff before that, but yeah, I think this game, especially the PSP version, really kind of refined a lot of this. I mean, the PS1 version is also nice, but yeah, I think I prefer the PSP version actually. So yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics and Advance. The Advance version is also really nice as well, although that actually came before this PSP version. So if you guys like tactical RPGs, yeah, definitely try out the OG tactical RPG. Tactics Ogre, everything kind of really inspired by Project Triangle Strategy, is a kind of direct descendant of this. So yeah, anyways, yeah, it's got a nice story too. Nice story, great combat, great mechanics. A lot of strategy involved, obviously. So, yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics is my pick for 2007. Okay, so my pick for 2008 is Fallout 3. This is, I think, one of the greatest Western RPGs, but it's not like, I know Fallout New Vegas is better than Fallout 3, because it kind of improves on Fallout 3 in a lot of ways, but you gotta give credit for Fallout 3 for kind of establishing, right, it created this engine, right? It's using the similar engine to Oblivion, I believe, but then it does it in the Fallout universe, which is really cool. So before this game, Fallout 1 and 2 were actually isometric RPGs, kind of like Baldur's Gate or Planescape or Icewind Dale, but with Bethesda did with Fallout 3, when they got licensed to Fallout 3, the Fallout series actually, because it came from Black Isle Studios, I believe. So anyways, when Bethesda got the license for Fallout, they really changed it up. Like they made it into a 3D open world game, and then FPS game essentially, but also an RPG, right? So yeah, it was like a kind of a shock to a lot of Fallout fans, but I think overall it was for the better. And this whole post-apocalyptic wasteland thing is, I think Fallout 3 kind of really made that popular, right? Especially in the open world thing, it's just, you can do so much in this game. It's just like with Elder Scrolls, right? It's just done in an post-apocalyptic environment. But that just adds so much more. I really prefer the post-apocalyptic environment compared to the, I prefer the sci-fi environment compared to the fantasy environment. So personally, I like Fallout 3 better than a lot of the Elder Scrolls games. So yeah, again, New Vegas improved on this game a lot, but we have to give credit to Fallout 3 because it is still a really good game in its own right. And without Fallout 3, there wouldn't be New Vegas. So
yeah, just the whole
that's just how it is. So yeah, great open world game, great RPG, and overall great Western RPG, I would say. So that's my pick for 2008.
Kill people randomly.
Okay, so my pick for 2009 is Sims 3. Probably my favorite in the series. I know Sims 4, you know, it's the latest. It's been going on forever. I still don't know why. Like EA and Maxis, really haven't made Sims 5. Huh? Like they're just gonna keep releasing stuff packs and expansions for Sims 4. That game is like going on almost 10 years old now. So I think they're just gonna keep milking Sims 4. But anyway, Sims 3 was really fun. Yeah, Sims 3 was probably my favorite overall. I feel like Sims 4 removed a lot of the features from Sims 3, unfortunately. But I think that Sims 3 was probably the peak of the series. It's only the only thing about Sims 3 is that at the time, it could be considered like not very optimal to run on some computers because computers weren't that powerful back then to handle the Sims 3 because you had the old interconnected neighborhoods and stuff like that. But nowadays, of course, you have more better computers and stuff. Yeah, Sims 3 is just a fun game to play. I played this a lot back in the day. I created all my friends, I created all my classmates. It's fun to build my own like dream house, dream apartment, and then just live it up, in this game. And it's an open-ended game, so there's no goals or anything like that. It's just a simulation game, so you can just do whatever you want in this game. So yeah, it's just a fun game to play. So I think in this one, I did build my own house and I created all my characters and stuff. And yeah, I'm just playing out. I have like 6 people in this household and 2 animals. I have a pet. I have a dog and a cat. Okay, two pets. Because this is the full version of Sims 3 with all the expansions and stuff, including all the pets and stuff. So, oh yeah, you can drive in this game. Yeah, so in Sims 3 you can actually drive a car, whereas you can't do that in Sims 4. So that's awesome, right? Sims 3 has so many features that Sims 4 still doesn't have. You can drive a car in Sims 3. Yeah. So that's why Sims 3 is my favorite Sims game. I think it's still the best one. And man, I should go back and play this sometime. Yeah, still really, really fun. It's just playing with a digital dollhouse, basically. Yeah, it's so fun what the things you can do in this game. Right, just controlling your people, and then
see, this is what I do.
You can do whatever you want with them, right? So it's really fun. Anyways, my pick for 2009, Sims 3. All right, so 2010, maybe not a surprise. A lot of you who know me, I love StarCraft and StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2, I play more. I play a lot with my brother. I play a lot with my friends. So yeah, I have a lot of StarCraft 2 gaming sessions on my YouTube channel. It's like one of them. But yeah, it's crazy. It came out 2010, so this is my pick for 2010. But they kept adding expansions onto it, right? Not just the 2 like direct expansions, Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void, but they kept adding it with updates like different co-op missions and stuff, and more heroes you can play as. So they're still updating it, which is really cool, right? It's I guess for the last few years, Blizzard didn't really pay too much attention to StarCraft 2, but at least they did update it with something.
Try to bring some guys.
So it's really cool. I think this last time I played it was 2020, but yeah, it's one of my favorite RTS games.
Not sure
probably my favorite because I did play it the most.
They can't do anything.
So yeah, I love sci-fi RTS more than fantasy RTS. That's why Warcraft isn't on here much. But yeah, StarCraft 2 always holds a special place in my heart. Just like played so much of this game, hours and hours. Campaign, co-op missions, arena, like different arcade games, right? Custom maps and stuff like that. I remember even like really memorizing the build order and specific like builds, right? I always played Protoss, so I would memorize some specific Protoss builds. And I remember playing like getting into not gold, but close to gold. I think it was back then. I was actually pretty competitive back then. Anyways, love StarCraft 2. So I would still play it today. Yeah, still one of my favorite RTS games. So that's my pick for 2010.
Well, there we go. We both had to be there.
Oh, okay, my pick for 2011 is Saints Row 3. And this is one of my favorite open world games. Certainly my favorite in the Saints Row series, I think. Because Saints Row 4 got a little bit too crazy, and then the new Saints Row game just isn't that great. So yeah, Saints Row 3 is still my favorite. It's like the perfect balance of craziness, but not too crazy. Like, I like it better than Saints Row 2. Saints Row 2 is like not crazy enough. But I really like Saints Row 3. I'm glad it got remastered recently, so I do have the remastered version, but this is the original version from 2011, so it is my pick for 2011. Yeah, I customize your character, which you can do in Saints Row, right?
I'm gonna kill that.
And what's really cool about Saints Row is how much more freedom you have in terms of the customization aspect in GTA, and how much crazier it is than GTA. I mean, look at this girl. Like, you'll never see that in GTA, right?
Good thing or a bad thing?
Like,
oh my God, are you kidding
in
me?
GTA, like, it's a little bit too serious sometimes, I think, for GTA. So Saints Row is just kind of that,
I wouldn't get too worked
like,
up.
really satirical kind of game. It doesn't take itself seriously, and in my opinion, that makes it more fun to play in GTA as well.
No, it's cool.
So yeah, Saints Row 3, I think, is just really nice open world game because you can do so many things in it. It doesn't take itself seriously like GTA does. A lot of things just like it has so much humor because it doesn't take itself seriously. So there's like so much like weird weapons and stuff. I think you can actually have a dildo as a weapon in this game, like really crazy weapons, really crazy vehicles. I think you can fly around on like a transforming, like, what is it? Is that like it was like kind of like a flying scooter, I think. Yeah, like there's like a flying transforming scooter that you can ride in this game. It was crazy. So yeah, the amount of things you can do in Saints Row is amazing. So Saints Row 3 is probably my favorite out of all the series. It's the peak. So yeah, the best balance between humor and I mean craziness, the perfect amount of craziness, but not too crazy. Because in Saints Row 4 they got superpowers and they got way too much. So yeah, that's my pick for 2011. Saints Row the third. Okay, so my pick for 2012 is another open world game, Sleeping Dogs, which I enjoy just as much as Saints Row, but in a different way. You can say that this game is not, like it's more serious than Saints Row, but it's no less fun. I mean, it's still a really fun game. And what I really love about this game is the fact that it's set in Asia, so it's set in Hong Kong, and actually not a lot of games are set in Hong Kong. So Sleeping Dogs being an open world game that you can set in Hong Kong is actually kind of rare. Yeah, we just don't get many open world games set in Asia, period. Like even Yakuza is not really open world, but Sleeping Dogs is truly open world actually in the GTA sense, right? You can just go around all the different buildings, you can drive cars, yeah, go to different shops and stuff like that. Wei Shen, the main character in this game, he's just such a badass. He's a badass. He's like a double agent for the police and for the triads. It's yeah. This amount of stuff you can do in this game. Oh, do I have like a Sun Wukong costume in this? Oh man. Yeah, this is a really fun game to play. I mean, still one of my favorite all-time open world games.
Bam Bam.
Yeah, just like I said, it's a fully open world version of Hong Kong. And anywhere, like, any open game set in Asia is really rare. This one just fully open world Hong Kong. You go wherever you want. It really is a nice recreation. And yeah, Wei Shen's a badass. And you can do parkour. You have kung fu fights. People like, and the story is actually pretty interesting. I think. Yeah, so many things you can do in this game. So, anyways, love this game. Sleeping Dogs. I wish that they made a sequel. No, but they're probably not going to make a sequel. But I really wish this game had a sequel. Sleeping Dogs from 2012, my favorite game from that year. Okay, my favorite game from 2013 is BioShock Infinite. So yeah, this is my favorite game from the BioShock series, I think. I mean, the first BioShock game was really good, of course, and influential. But I personally prefer Infinite. The fact that it's set in the sky and not the water is a little bit more interesting to me. And the fact, I think what made Infinite really special to me was Elizabeth. So the fact that you had a supporting character that actually like really did stuff for you. Like a lot of times that we have in games, we have supporting characters that are just there, right? They don't really do much. But in this game, you actually have a supporting character that helps you out a lot. Like she'll give you ammo, and she'll give you like different things to help you out. yeah, I think that's a unique mechanic. So Elizabeth is like more than your average supporting character. So I think that kind of made this game special. Also like the unique, just the unique design in this game. Like everything's in a, like floating in the sky and stuff. It's really cool. You have like a hook that you can use for transportation. That you can use on in the sky. Like it's really cool.
What are you doing, Miss?
So yeah, and of course, you know, this being a first-person shooter, you have that. Those mechanics are really done really nicely, and you have like, you know, the special like spell weapon that you have.
You killed those people.
Yeah, well, I had to.
You're a monster.
Yeah,
Maybe don't you understand? They were killing me.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know if there's ever going to be another BioShock game, but this is definitely my favorite one. Love the design. I love the action gameplay, the mechanics. Elizabeth, you know, everything about this game is nice. Of course, I beat this game many times as well. So that's my pick for 2013, BioShock Infinite. Alright, my pick for 2014 is Far Cry 4, a game that I probably spent the most hours on in this channel. Like, if you look at my gameplay videos, so many games are from Far Cry 4. I just play this with my friend a shit ton, and it's just a really fun game to play, multiplayer. So there's all these custom maps that you can do in Far Cry 4. So Far Cry 5 is also really good. I think Far Cry 4 and 5 are definitely our favorites, but something special about 4 because it has that like really unique visceral screaming when the enemies get caught on fire. All these custom maps, like 4 and 5, I think are probably the peak of Far Cry because 6 took away the custom maps, which is annoying. Like the custom maps were one of the best things about 4 and 5. 4 even had more crazier custom maps, maybe. 5 had more unique variety, but 4 had the crazier ones, I think. So, anyways, in terms of the actual gameplay hours, 4 and 5 are pretty close. But 4 will definitely always... I played this so much with my friend back in the day. And you guys can see hours and hours of gameplay videos of Far Cry 4. We just love setting these guys on fire. They're screaming and everything. It's unique in this game. 5 doesn't have the same kind of screaming. Also, in 4, there's no limits on the map editor compared to 5, so you can put as many like vehicles, animals, and stuff as you want. Also, Far Cry 4 is the only game where you can ride an elephant. So when you ride an elephant in this game, you can like kind of just trample over them, and that's really cool. Like you can't do that in 5 or 6 or any other Far Cry game, except for Primal, but that's different. Yeah, so that's kind of like really cool about 4 is that you can ride elephants and stuff. You can't do that in other Far Cry games. And also, yeah, I think one of the downsides of 4 is you don't have the same kind of like air vehicles. You only have like a little small helicopter thing, and that's it. You don't have the big jets and big hoppers that you have in Far Cry 5 and 6. So yeah, that's not as good. But 4 has everything else going for it, I think. Yeah, just doesn't have as much variety as 5. Doesn't have the planes and jets and stuff that 5 does, but at least it has elephants and stuff, and it's got crazier maps, I think. So, anyways, this game I spent so much time back in today. We just like playing maps with infinite ammo and just molotoving everyone, throwing Molotov cocktail at everything. Oh my god, okay. What a great time. So, anyways, Far Cry 4 is my pick for 2014. Spent so much time in this game. Alright, so 2015, I'm gonna pick Undertale, because Undertale I think is a very unique indie RPG. So when it came out, it was widely acclaimed. It's a very interesting game. Like, it's definitely, like, if you haven't played Undertale, I highly recommend people who are into RPGs, and especially like retro style RPGs, check it out. Because it is quite different than your typical RPG. I think it's probably most inspired by the Mother series. Yeah, Mother 1, 2, which is Earthbound, and Mother 3, because it's you can tell from this interface, right? It's from this kind of a first-person perspective interface, but you play mini games basically in order to defeat the enemies. And some enemies you don't need to defeat at all. Yeah, there's atypical aspects of this game. Like this example, right, this puzzle right here, the rock's actually talking to you, and yeah, it's yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's kind of like playing around with you and stuff. So it's a very quirky game. It's also very dark as well.
There we go.
So yeah, it's a dark, quirky game that's not like other RPGs, and really Undertale itself inspired a lot of other indie RPGs as well. So yeah, it's very unique, very interesting.
See, that's the thing about this game. It's like it's really quirky.
It's got lore actually, because as you find out what happens in this game, yeah, you get to find out more and more about the characters in this game, and it is quite mysterious. So yeah, I think overall, this game did inspire, like, you know, a lot of other like more modern Steam games that done in the retro style in a kind of a weird way, right? So some games I'm thinking about is like Athenian Rhapsody or In Stars in Time. I think has some quirks about it, and I think that is kind of inspired by Undertale in a way. So yeah, when this game came out, very widely acclaimed. It's done in a retro style, so if you're into retro style RPGs, you'll like the graphical aesthetic. But it's mainly like the gameplay is very, yeah, it's not like other RPGs. It's very interesting. Like, yeah, you can flirt with this ghost, right? You don't have to always attack it. You can flirt with it, and then if you do attack it, you have mini games to play. So yeah, it's interesting, and the lore is actually very interesting as well. So all in all, I'm gonna pick this as my favorite 2015 game. Yeah, Undertale. Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the greatest indie RPGs. Okay, my pick for 2016, a little bit of an unconventional pick, Cyberpunk Bartender Action Valhalla. This is an indie game that I picked up. Originally played it on PS Vita, actually, but this is the PC version, and this game is really nice. Like, it's not like a long game, it's a fairly short game, but I really enjoyed it. You basically, yeah, like the name of the game implies, you mix drinks and stuff like that for people, but along the way you kind of experience the whole environment of the game, which is a cyberpunk environment. I love cyberpunk, so you experience the different stories of people in the cyberpunk environment. They kind of open up to you, and there's, yeah, the main character Jill has a personality, like a really interesting personality actually, and it's just, yeah, it really makes me immersed in this game. So it's too bad like the sequel Nirvana or whatever it's on hold or whatever. I don't know if it's going to come out, but at least this game that Sukeban made is really special. Yeah, I wish that they would make I wish the sequel would come out. But the music in this game is awesome. It's this really ambient type of, I want to say, like, yeah, it's kind of like vaporwave-ish. Like it's just ambient music that's really nice and really relaxing to play this game. And just talking to people in this game and, you know, getting their stories and backstories and stuff is really fun. So that's my pick for 2016. This indie, I would call it visual novel-ish. It's not technically like exactly a visual novel, but it's got some interactivity like this, like mixing the drinks and stuff, but essentially almost a visual novel because you're just like clicking through a lot of text boxes. But it's a really nice one. I highly recommend this game. It's an awesome game. So that's my pick for 2016. A little bit unconventional. So for 2017, I'm gonna go with Disgaea 5 Complete. This is for Nintendo Switch, and yeah, this has got to be, I think, one of the games I put the most time on, because Disgaea, the whole series is like, the whole series is about, it's a tactical RPG series, but it's very deep. So even after you beat the game, the end game is huge because you can just keep on grinding, and the whole game's about grinding, but the end game you can just keep on grinding and grinding, and there's really no end to it. Like, you can just keep going to these item dungeons and you can just keep on grinding your levels, and that's why you see people playing Disgaea, and they have, I mean, look, even look at my video here.
Maybe if you can stay behind.
250,000 health with this guy, like
that'd be cool.
50,000 attack. I mean, you can see people playing Disgaea for, yeah, just like, well, like hundreds of hours basically. And eventually you'll have characters that like deal millions of damage and they have millions of health. And yeah, that's how deep this game is if you're gonna put the time in it. If you're willing to put the time in it, it's very rewarding. And the whole Disgaea series is like that, but Disgaea 5 is probably my favorite Disgaea game because the characters are so well developed, and it's got that charm, right, that NIS has, and Disgaea being one of NIS's signature properties, they put a lot of humor and stuff into it. You have the signature NIS humor, but Disgaea 5 is still my favorite. I think it has the best humor, it has the best characters, like solid story, I guess, for a game like this, And you know, I like tactical RPGs, right? I'm a huge fan of like, you know, Fire Emblem and those types of games, and Disgaea really is. Yeah, this is really my favorite Disgaea game. So played this for a long time, 2017. Did a lot of grinding in this game. Very, very fun. So yep, it's just one of my favorite tactical RPGs. So yeah, so it's going to be my pick for 2017. Okay, so for 2018, I'm going with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Might be a surprise to some. I mean, there are a lot of good games from 2018. I also like Steins Gate Zero, Into the Breach, and yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 as well, and Spider-Man for PS4. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is actually probably my favorite Assassin's Creed. I know a lot of people love Assassin's Creed 4, and for me, Assassin's Creed 2 was really great too. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because it adds in the open world and is set in ancient Greece and ties in some of the Greek mythology stuff that I really love. Ended up being actually probably my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Yeah, just overall, I thought it was executed really well. It's a huge game, so it does have a lot of content. For me, I think it improved on Origins. I know a lot of people like Origins, but for me, I think Odyssey just improved upon Origins in many ways. And yeah, it really was like, you know, some people like felt like Origins and Odyssey and Valhalla, like these games strayed too far away from the core Assassin's Creed type of gameplay. But for me, I do like the open world. I appreciate the open world. I mean, I love Assassin's Creed 2 because that's more of a core Assassin's Creed game as well. But I do have to admit the open world set in ancient Greece here is really appealing to me as well. Like for me, I love history, right? I love reading about ancient history from many different cultures, and ancient Greeks being no exception here, right? Play as a Spartan here, like, yeah, ability to play as a guy and a girl, by the way. I'm playing as a girl here. But yeah, overall, I do love the open world setting of this game, the ancient Greek setting, and there is a ton of content in this game. So yeah, I think overall it's a well executed Assassin's Creed game. Yeah, I think it's one of my favorites. So definitely, it's up there. I think Assassin's Creed 2 and Odyssey are probably my favorites, but Odyssey because it has the open world and all the content and stuff, as well as the ancient Greece setting with the mythology and everything going on. Yeah, definitely. I think this one is definitely up there for, you know, my favorite Assassin's Creed games. So, yep, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is going to be my pick. Okay, my pick for 2019, a little bit more unconventional again, but it's a visual novel called You Know, A Girl Who Chanced Love at the Bound of This World. Originally a game that came out for the PC-98, when it was Japanese only, because it was one of those eroge games that had like these sex, like hentai scenes in it. Now, of course, with this release, they remastered it. Actually, it's a remake, not even a remaster. It's a remake because they redid the art and everything, and they took out, you know, the sex scenes and stuff. But still, a really good game because it was like, this game doesn't need that to actually be a good game. So it's not like, don't think of this game as like a game that was like an eroge game that's been converted into like a normal game, but this game actually has like a really good story to it. So despite the perverted kind of nature of this game, it does have a really good story, and it does have like more gameplay than other visual novels actually, because you actually have to use the jewels and stuff to kind of save at specific points in the game, at different story points in different paths. In order to get all the jewels, you have to, you know, go through the right path, save it at the correct point, and then you have to basically use the correct items at the correct sequences, and do like some investigation and stuff, and then you get to the epilogue, which is actually another long story in itself. So it's really cool, and you know, time travel mechanics are involved. And it has a charm, right? I mean, I actually wish I could switch to the older graphics, because like the newer graphics are nice and clean and polished, but I actually really do like the old PC-98 graphics as well. It's really charming. The music is awesome. You know, I love the music in this game as well. The characters are very memorable. And yeah, this has a really nice story to it, right? It's a lot of time travel mechanics going on. So don't think of this as just like some perverted game or whatever. It has that, but there's actually a really nice story and good characters behind it all. So yeah, I spent a lot of hours in this game. I even did a speed run of this game because I played it so much. And it's an awesome game. Yeah, even has its own anime now. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite visual novels ever. You know, so that's my pick for 2019. Okay, so for 2020, I'm going with Persona 4 Golden, and I know this is like it's technically like people are gonna say, well, this is not a 2020 game, right? It originally came out in 2012, but it came out in 2020 for PC. And that's the platform I'm playing it on here, so it counts, okay? It came out in 2020 for PC. So yeah, Persona 4 Golden is one of the best Persona games. Like Persona 3, 4, and 5 are all really good. But I'm going Persona 4 Golden here. I would actually say that the characters and the story of Persona 4 I like better than Persona 5. I know Persona 5 as an entire game overall, the combat and gameplay mechanics are more polished. But Persona 4, I still like the characters and the narrative of Persona 4 better. And in some ways I like Persona 3 better in a lot of ways too. But yeah, Persona 4 Golden is like the definitive version of Persona 4, originally came out for PS Vita. But yeah, in the PC version, you can obviously tell like they did some porting and everything, upscaled the graphics a bit. But yeah, overall, like the Persona games are all really good, like 3, 4, and 5 especially. But yeah, Persona 4 is known for, well, all the Persona games are widely acclaimed for the social relationship and dynamic between the characters and the music. And same thing with Persona 4. I would say the gameplay, like the combat itself, like they're mainly just summons, right? When you use Personas, they're essentially just summons. So I would say there's nothing like that innovative about the combat of Persona. It's more like combining it with the social relationship between the characters, where you can spend time with the characters to improve their relationships, and yeah, and combining that with the music and the dungeon crawling, everything combined together, and it's always done in a really nice, polished way. So I think that's what makes Persona special, and Persona 4 Golden to me is one of the best examples of that. So yeah, great combination. I like the music in Persona 4 actually a little bit better than 5 as well. Overall, I think Persona 3 and Persona 4 are close. I actually put Persona 4 as probably my favorite Persona game. Yeah, maybe even above 3. 3 is like more sentimental to me because I started out playing Persona with 3, but 4 I think is a better game. And I like a lot of things about 4 better than 5. Even though I know 5 is the more polished game, but there's still a lot of things I like about 4, like the characters and the narrative I like better in 4. So, and the music too, actually. So yeah, Persona 4 Golden is my pick for 2020. Because it came out for PC and it ported to PC in 2020, so it counts. Okay, so my pick for 2021 is Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite, surprisingly, right? Like, I loved Halo 2, I loved Halo 3, and then after Halo 4 came out and Halo Reach, just didn't feel like they lived up to the other Halos, and then like Halo kind of went downhill after 3, I think. You know, when Bungie left. And Halo Infinite, I think, is a nice return to form. I mean, it came out with the multiplayer first, so we just play multiplayer a lot. Me and my brother play this game a lot. But it really returned to that old school deathmatch type of feel, right? The Unreal Tournament 2004 type of feel is what I was looking for, and yeah, or Unreal Tournament 3 even. But yeah, this game really returns back to that. You know, you have these larger scale battles, but you have like smaller maps where you can do like really deathmatch stuff. You have vehicles or not, right? And yeah, this everything's like really smooth and polished, I think. Yeah. Like, me and my brother really had a fun time playing this game. I think it's a return to form for Halo. It's just really it just feels like, you know, an old school Halo game. Right, fun to play, just get some people together, right, and just frag, you know. So it's kind of like an old school Halo game, but of course, you know, updated with some new mechanics, but it doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the game at all. And yeah, and the multiplayer was actually free, so that's another great point, right? You can just kind of pick it up and try it. But definitely the best first-person like deathmatch experience I've had in a long time. So yeah, Halo Infinite, guys, is my pick for 2021.
Yeah, I think the fun part about big teams is that sometimes they drop out and nothing's going on, and you always get...
Okay, so my pick for 2022 is Elden Ring, and this is another game I played a lot with my brother. Actually, like, just checking the videos, we played Halo Infinite all the way like until Elden Ring came out, and we just dropped Halo Infinite for Elden Ring. So it's like,
yeah, this thing had, like,
tells you how addictive this game was. Elden Ring is like it's a difficult game, but it's unlike all the other open world games.
I mean, do you think
It's like-
Magicon's harder than Millennia's first form?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, but it's like it
even know.
rewards
I
your
think Millennia actually
exploration.
does
It
more
rewards
damage.
like how if you're determined,
She
right?
heals too.
It'll reward you for it.
Actually, Millennia's first form.
So
I
it's
don't
not
remember
one of
using
those
that many
games that's like
potions.
frustrating and hard when you
Sure,
when you beat something.
we had
There's
a
no
strategy for it. We just,
payoff
you know,
for
we used
it.
the
But
last
Elden Ring
display
actually
on
has
there.
payoff. It gives you rewards
Oh, right. No,
for your persistence. So yeah, Elden Ring's a special game. I
It's
think.
just Millennia actually has her health bar isn't that big.
Yeah,
It's
so
Ratchet
like
kinda has,
it's a really big open world game, right? First of all,
Yeah, that's true.
and
Because Millennia, yeah,
the enemies and
if
stuff are
we can get a
amazing.
few good hits
Like
on her,
the,
like, she
the
goes down actually
designs and
pretty
everything are amazing.
quick. The really big thing is
And,
that the
The
water fast.
combat and everything is
Yeah, that's the one thing.
yeah, it really rewards you for being like
Yeah, not like
for
so
really
many
getting good at
summons,
it.
okay.
So
So that's where we go.
I think that's where Elden
Let's
Ring's
take
kind
on
of
these
charm
guys
lies in.
first.
It's like at first, if
Then
I
I'll
just
filter yours.
played this by myself, I
Okay.
probably
Yeah, that's good.
would not get very far in it. But then playing with my brother, you know, made it more fun and enjoyable.
Let's get this guy called Duke Newton.
Yeah, it just made it more fun and enjoyable for us, I think, to play it
Well,
play
if you have a
together
name
and
like
try to
that,
beat
then
these
I guess
guys
he's
together.
It's been gaming for a while.
But yeah, Elden Ring, I think, definitely
So, yeah,
is my
like
favorite game
anyone
this
that
year.
references Duke Nukem is
Of last year, I mean. So
it's like an old reference.
yeah, there's just so much you can do, so much you can explore in this game. Like there's secrets
Yeah,
that
but my,
people
like,
have
name
found
is,
just in
Cash
the
Jack
really
Rabbit.
remote,
You know how many people
obscure
would get
stuff
that
that you can do in
reference?
this game. You just you just
It's
suddenly
like no
discover
one-
it, right? Like
No one's gonna get that
there's like
reference.
something hidden there. There's like something like if you go to the far reaches of this of the corners of this map, you'll find something. So you know that's really special
Right,
thing
Duke
about Elden
Newton.
Ring, I think, compared to other open world games. Like,
Massive hammer.
let's take GTA or Saints Row for example, right?
He's
It's a
doing
big
pretty
open
buff
world.
Too, so, you know.
Or Skyrim even. It's a big open
something.
world. You go to the far corners of the map, you might not actually be able to find anything
Somewhat
that's
good.
there, right?
You
So
get
there's
the
something
final boss.
generated. Or some random dungeon without some, you know, not that great of a payoff. But this game, everywhere you go, no matter how far the map, corners of the map or whatever, or how deep the dungeon is, there's always something special and interesting there. So there's always a reward, always a payoff. And of course you gotta be really good, you know, and it encourages you to get good at it. So I think Elden Ring is just a special game. It's one of my favorite games ever, actually. So it's not just for this year, but yeah, it's just one of my favorite games ever. It's a good game. The lore itself is not like, it's obscure. It's not. I'm not gonna say like FromSoft makes any great stories or lore or anything like that, because they don't. At least it does have some lore though. That's better than nothing. So yeah, but yeah, it really does encourage you to get good at this game. The enemy design, the combat, and everything. Oh man, it's amazing. So anyways, that's my pick for 2022 for last year. Elden Ring. It has to be Elden Ring. This game took up so much of our times back then. Just an amazing game already. Like I remember, like we went down some elevator and there was this entire. This was an entirely new map. There was like an entire map right below like the underground, right?
Nice.
So that's pretty amazing. Okay, and my pick so far for this year is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I know it's like a little bit surprising to some people. There's been so many great games that came out this year, like huge releases, right? This is a kind of bonkers year. Hogwarts Legacy, Jedi Survivor came out. Then they kind of got forgotten, and then because people played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and then Diablo 4 came out, Street Fighter 6 came out, then Baldur's Gate 3, right, got the official release, and then Starfield's coming out later. So this year has been just kind of nuts for gaming. So many big games, but you know, so far I still really like Jedi Survivor. It's one of my favorite Star Wars games. This and, you know, Knights of the Old Republic are probably my favorite Star Wars games now, but I think this is an improvement on Fallen Order in every way. I just like, it just starts right off the bat, you know, with a nice like kind of opening sequence, and then this, like, I remember Fallen Order when I played it, it was like, it took a while because like it was a little bit slow pacing in the beginning. This game just gets right into it. And the boss battles are actually really intense, like the same way that Elden Ring, maybe not quite as intense as Elden Ring, but I can definitely tell that the boss battles really been ramped up in this game. to where it's like it feels really like satisfying and intense. So I mean, it actually took me like what? Seven tries to beat the first boss in this game. So yeah, and then you have the open world, but you start with Coruscant, which is a really nice kind of cyberpunk type of planet. So that's a really nice environment to start out with already, and the graphics are amazing, right?
So close to being
and then it just feels like you're in Star Wars. You're immersed in the Star Wars game, and it's just done really well. So I think this game is actually kind of overlooked because there's so many great games that came out this year. It kind of got
I was too low on health.
But this is like one of my favorite Star Wars games ever.
Kept falling.
Yeah, the new Battlefront 2 is also
okay.
really good.
Well, at least I know the.
And the Knights of the Republic is good. Squadrons is actually pretty decent. Galactic Battlegrounds I think is a pretty good RTS. So those are some pretty good Star Wars games. But yeah, Jedi Survivor, yeah, it's something like when I played this, it was like, yeah, this is probably going to make my Game of the Year list. I know, probably not for other people. Well, you have Final Fantasy 16, right? That's another one. So Final Fantasy 16, probably going to be like Game of the Year for a lot of people. I personally did not enjoy Final Fantasy 16 as a lot of other people did. I just felt like it was, I didn't feel like it was like a traditional Final Fantasy game in a sense. It felt like it was like God of War with a Final Fantasy skin, and there's like way too many cinematics in that game. But anyways, yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is another one, probably Game of the Year for a lot of people. But for me, Jedi Survivor, I felt like this game, like it just gets straight into like the action and stuff, puts you straight into the Star Wars environment, and has these really intense boss battles and stuff. Yeah, it's got really deep gameplay and everything. So yeah, it's overall one of my favorite Star Wars games. So I think this is probably my Game of the Year so far. So that's my pick for this year, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Alright, so for 2024 this year, I know the year hasn't ended yet, but I'm going with Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. This is basically the sequel to Like a Dragon, which came out in 2020 originally, and Infinite Wealth really just expands upon Like a Dragon. It made all the aspects of Like a Dragon, a little bit better, improved. It really mainly expands the area to add Hawaii in addition to Japan. And I've always been a fan of the Yakuza series. I started with Yakuza 4. You actually play like 4 different characters in Yakuza 4, which is really cool. But yeah, Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth, I would say it's the epitome of the Yakuza series, because the problem with the mainline Yakuza games up until Like a Dragon is because, okay, I do like the story, of course, because it has a lot of drama and everything, the betrayal that usually happens. So the story in Yakuza games is usually pretty intriguing. The characters, I think Kiryu as a character, the problem with him is that he doesn't really have much character, actually. He's just a very stoic guy with not too much personality, actually. So that was one issue with Yakuza. The combat was the other issue I have with Yakuza. It was usually very repetitive because, in the regular Yakuza games, it's a brawler, right? So you meet some guys on the street, you're forced to fight them, and then you just mash the button. It's like a hack and slash type brawler thing, and then it's done. So the thing about Yakuza Like a Dragon when it came out in 2020 is that it fixed a lot of these issues. It added Ichiban as the main character, and Ichiban is a much more interesting character than Kiryu. He has a lot more of an interesting personality, so in that way I like it better already. But then it fixed the combat too by adding in the turn-based RPG system. So when you make a turn-based RPG, you get the different party members and everything that can always use different attacks. That makes the combat feel more fresh and exciting. So I feel like that's a huge upgrade over the traditional Yakuza games with the brawler concept. The repetitive combat was one of the things I didn't like about Yakuza. They fixed that with Like a Dragon with a turn-based combat system, adding in other party members with unique attacks. That made it more cool and fun and fresh and exciting. Infinite Wealth keeps that and adds in the whole new area of Hawaii as well. So it really is just an improvement on the Like a Dragon game, which already was my favorite Yakuza game, by the way. And it keeps all the other great aspects of the Yakuza, right? The mini games and being set in Japan. So this game, even though it's mostly set in Hawaii, but part of it's set in Japan too. So it's not like you lose the Japanese aspect of this game too. It's like, yeah, you get to visit a new location, which is Hawaii, which Yakuza has never done, but you also get to keep the Japanese aspect of the game too. So yeah, definitely part of the game is still takes place in Yokohama, which is where the original Like a Dragon takes place. So yeah, I'd say that this keeps everything good about Like a Dragon and just expands it, adds more upon it. And since Like a Dragon was already my favorite Yakuza game, where I felt like it fixed a lot of the issues with previous Yakuza games, then yeah, I think Infinite Wealth is definitely my favorite Yakuza game and my pick for the best Yakuza game, so it has to be my pick for this year, 2024. I know there's a lot of other good games, 2024 Unicorn Overlord, Stellar Blade, what's the other one? Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, those are all great games too. But yeah, Infinite Wealth is going to get my pick for 2024. I think it's the best Yakuza game to me. It took Like a Dragon, which already was my favorite Yakuza game, and just expanded it more. So yeah, that's why I'm going 2024. So yeah, that's my list of my favorite games every year from 1990 to 2024. This year, as of when I'm recording this video. So that's a total of 35 games. So yeah, quite a bit. Took me a while to make this list because I played so many games. It's hard to pick some for certain years. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys agree or not. I'm sure you guys, disagree on some years at least. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think though of my picks. So that's it guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this little ranking video, and yeah, as always, thanks for watching.